Our reading today comes from a book by Jennifer Brainey Wallace. Mattering, the secret to a life of deep connection and purpose. As I boarded the train back to New York, the car was crowded with commuters settling into their seats. Suddenly, a young man in his early 20s stormed into the car. His eyes darted around and his chest heaved with visible anger. He shouted, startling everyone. From what I could gather, he had words with someone on the platform. The other person was gone, but his anger remained. As he yelled, the other passengers averted their gazes and lowered into their seats, maybe out of fear of what might happen, but also maybe because his desperation was too much to witness. Quickly and calmly, a conductor approached the man. He didn't issue threats, bark orders, or try to overpower him. Instead, he spoke softly, asking if everything was okay and if he needed anything. Then he pointed out an open chair and gently asked the man for his ticket. Despite being considerably shorter, the conductor had a grounding effect on the man. The interaction was masterful to witness. What could have escalated into something more dangerous had been resolved through respect and compassion. The conductor could have thrown him off the train for being disruptive, but that's not what happened. Instead, the conductor engaged with him as a person worthy of dignity. At the time, I was deep into researching how our culture of achievement is driving mental health crisis among adolescents. One idea kept surfacing: mattering, the feeling that we are valued and needed by others. Again and again, I found that the kids who were thriving shared one thing in common: that they felt they mattered for who they were deep at their core. Mattering acted as a kind of protective shield that buffered against anxiety and depression. But what I saw on that train clarified something else. Mattering isn't just for young people. It's for everyone, everywhere. While I understand the concept intellectually, that moment on the train made it visceral. Adults crave the same recognition, the same sense of being seen and valued. The man on the train wasn't just lashing out, he was reaching out. In his own confused, chaotic way, he was begging for the world to answer our most fundamental human questions. Do you see me? Do you hear me? Do I matter? The conductor answered him with compassion and care.
Ever wonder where I get ideas for sermons? I regularly troll through intellectual streams of thought, fishing for ideas that might be a nibble or a strike that I can pull out for a sermon. As I'm driving back and forth to see my family up in Albany, I like to listen to lectures from the Commonwealth Club in San Francisco, New York Times podcasts by Ezra Klein and Ross Douthat and their very interesting guests, brilliant scientists and deep thinkers interviewed by a physicist named Sean Carroll on Mindscape, recommend that one. And I really enjoy listening to the innovative talks from the Aspen Ideas Festival in Colorado. It was while listening to one of those that I heard Jennifer Wallace talk about the events that she witnessed and reproduced in the beginning of her book that I chose for the reading this morning. As I listened, a little bulb in my brain lit up with a sense that there was an important sermon I needed to offer about the topic of mattering. The deeper I dug into it, the more important the topic became, compelling me to put aside a previously planned sermon about Malthus, maybe some other time, to do this one. The psychology of mattering is an area of psychological research first defined by Dr. Morris Rosenberg in the beginning of the 1980s. Here are the words that Wallace uses to define mattering. Mattering is the assurance that our presence and actions are significant to others. It's the pull you feel towards someone who genuinely appreciates you and your input, or the warm feeling you get when you see that your efforts have made a difference. It's knowing that others rely on you in big and small ways. It is the meaningful way we fit into each other's lives and the wider world, like essential pieces of a puzzle. On the surface, mattering may seem simple, but dig a little deeper, and it speaks of the most profound complexities of the human experience. Mattering is the story we tell ourselves about our place in the world, as in, do people value and appreciate me, or do I go unnoticed? Do I truly belong, or am I moving through the world alone? Does my life make a difference to others, or would it not matter if I weren't here? The three key components Rosenberg defined for mattering are: one, being noticed. At the most basic level, everyone needs to be recognized. None of us want to live in complete anonymity. This is one of the big challenges of living here in New York City, where it's very easy to become lost in the crowd and be unknown. Number two, being valued. Not only do we want to be recognized, we want to feel that we have an importance to others. Yes, it's nice to belong to a group, but it matters to us to be more and feel important, to feel like a significant contributor to the
I'm
group.
never going to
We all
see you again
desire
for
to be
real.
appreciated for the value we offer to the groups in which we participate. And three, beyond being noticed, beyond being valued, being needed. Being valued is great, but being relied upon increases our sense of mattering. If our contribution isn't there and its absence is noticed, we know that what we're offering someone or something in a group is that it has value. Mattering is a significant source of meaning in our lives. Mattering in a group project helps us transcend our self-interests, linking us to the group's purposes and goals that are greater than ourselves. Being a valued contributor to a group builds a sense of resilience, that other people will be there when we are in need. Being part of an organization with a purpose greater than oneself can be a tremendous source of identity anchoring, contributing to answering those big questions: who am I? How do I matter? I get this feeling of mattering when someone emails me an article or a link to a podcast that shows that they know my interests and concerns. That attention feels even better if it is unique to me. I feel personally noticed. I feel I matter when someone comes to me for pastoral care and I can offer help that makes a positive difference. When people consult me about problems that they're having with mindfulness meditation, and then I can offer guidance that helps them get unstuck. When a sermon that I've given opens a new way of thinking or feeling that offers new meaning and insights in people's lives. I appreciate being a dependable person for this congregation's members, being someone upon whom that you can rely to deal with challenges and help the congregation move forward. I'm feeling especially that way now that the congregation has successfully called a new minister, a key purpose for being an interim minister. I'm grateful to serve this congregation in a role as a minister, and it matters a lot. Yet, please do not compare yourself as mattering any less here because you're not the minister. Think back to that conductor on the train in the reading. He wasn't driving the train, yet his actions had a huge impact on the angry man and on all those worried passengers on the train. His actions in that moment mattered a great deal. They even triggered the author to have the profound insight into mattering that I doubt a sermon by me might have inspired. We don't have to look very far for a place where we can discover the experience of mattering. Think about your family. A powerful way to say, I love you, is to communicate that that person matters to you. In our marriages, partnerships, friendships, and committed relationships, we want to be recognized for who we are and what we value. We want to know that our relationships can be a safe harbor when we are stressed, that care and support will be volunteered without even needing to make a request. We feel much more secure in our relationships when we know that our partners communicate a we perspective that is concerned with what is best for the both of us. With children, it is very important that we communicate that they matter to us in concrete ways. Attention is a precious resource to offer without being asked. Listening to what they say and remembering and echoing it back, what matters to them and what matters to us. Recognizing when they put extra effort into something, and especially the positive results from that effort. With parents, a powerful way to communicate that they matter is to ask for their counsel and advice about something and then use it in some productive way. Parents want appreciation for the legacy that they leave behind and the difference that they have made and will make in their children's lives. Parents so appreciate the opportunity to continue to be part of the lives of their children, even when they are no longer needed. Parents want to matter to their children, the inheritors of their life energy. For many of us, work is a big source of mattering. So much of our life energy goes into making a living and providing for ourselves and others. Yet it is a very vulnerable source of mattering. A big corporation may just decide that for all you've contributed and mattered, you are reduced to just a cost to be deleted from their balance sheet. And maybe a robot or artificial intelligence can replace you now or in the future. And maybe even do your job better than is humanly possible. The workplace is fast becoming a huge crisis as a source of mattering. It is already happening now to software engineers. One place I hope we will not let this happen is in this congregation. Our congregation offers the opportunity to be recognized as a whole human being, independent of what one produces or accomplishes. Though Unitarian Universalism focuses today on 6 core values with love at the center, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, not robot, remains a core principle. The hospitality we offer everyone who comes here isn't conditional on brains, beliefs, or status. People are welcomed here for who they are, not who we think we can shape them into that better reflects some ideology or institutional identity. Honoring the uniqueness of each person means that it matters to us. Unlike belief systems that make original sin the core of human nature to be eliminated, we recognize an inner source, an inner light in humanity that supremely matters. We value diversity, we name it pluralism, as one of our core values. Pluralism becomes a stronger value with another one of our core values, interdependence. This congregation is not a monoculture, but aspires to be an ecosystem. Ecosystems need expansive diversity to thrive and continue to grow and change and evolve. Our inherent worth and dignity is a beginning, not an ending. We deeply value this congregation as a place to grow and develop, a place to search for meaning. It offers the opportunity to grow the experience of mattering. Our congregation is a voluntary association. While we have employees to fill some of the critical roles, the members of this congregation give it life and direction. The greeters and ushers, the coffee hour hosts, the religious education teachers, the worship and pastoral care associates all facilitate our Sunday morning services each week. Each person's contribution matters a lot. And just being here on Sunday morning or on Zoom matters to create our sense of community, to share our joys and sorrows together, to lift our voices in song when we have the words, and to make connections after the service. In the background, teams and committees do the work of the congregation, and that work matters a lot too. And while we are a small congregation and a small religious movement, our vision of social justice and equity matters a lot in a world driven by forces that cause great harm, suffering, and oppression. Sometimes we are out in front before other religious organizations. We've been willing to risk projecting our values, leading the way for others. Today, this congregation has a passion for democracy and for environmental and racial justice. One of the biggest social problems we are facing today is the feeling that one's personal life matters. A side effect of spending our lives in front of screens and phones is a dramatic reduction in human contact. One of the bad results of the COVID pandemic was that so many of us spent even more time than ever in front of screens. It is more convenient now to have a meeting on Zoom rather than in person as we manage busy personal lives. More people can spend an entire day without having any quality time with another person. As social circles shrink, one can feel like one's sense of mattering can shrink too. May this congregation be a place that facilitates the experience of mattering and makes it a priority. May this place be a place to grow the experience of mattering to each other that isn't dependent on status or accomplishment. May this place be a place to discover the value of diversity through interdependence. And especially, may this be a place that works to undo systemic racism, which in its essence is a denial of mattering. So be it.